Hi, everyone. A very good morning to you, or whatever time it is that you are watching this podcast right now, this live stream. My name is Mike from Reserved Immigrant Hub, settling, and I have with me my co host today, as always, Michael, joining me from Nigeria. Today, we're going to be talking about a very important topic, something I feel that, yeah, most people probably don't talk about it, at least not as loud as it should be talked about, and that is the fact that you live abroad and you're earning in a hard foreign currency does not necessarily make you rich or make you wealthy. Why? Because there are many things involved that people don't see. And today we are going to be talking about that and looking at it from both sides. Because our idea here in this weekly podcast is to show both worlds, um, people living back home and then people living abroad, and to tell you the truth that exists, between both sides. So I'm excited about it. And wherever you're watching this from, I do encourage you to stick around. We keep the talk within 30 minutes and we ensure that right from the start, we really hit on the key points. So if this interests you in any way, sit back, relax, and watch until the end. Over to you, Michael, before we get started.
Yes, sir. Very good morning to you, to all our viewers in all different platforms. Yes, it's a very interesting topic. As a matter of fact, I was listening to some ladies having a conversation the other day, and a guy wanted to get married to the brother of his brother is living abroad. Okay, so and the guy wanted to get married to a lady. And one of his strong point was his brother is abroad. And the friends are like, the brother, they are abroad. He go do well, everything should be fine. And so there is this already predisposed mentality that somebody is abroad, is earning in dollars, 1 naira or $1, where you change it. I mean, it's nothing, so it's a promise of heaven already by the fact that you're already in abroad and you are earning this hard currency, euros and dollars. So when you now this topic now tend to contradict this belief.
Yep. Michael, I'm losing you now. I'm losing you. I can't hear you. I can't hear you. Okay, so guys, if you can hear me, please let me know. So I'm sure you can hear me. Um, Now we are going to jump in right into the key parts of this topic. Why? Because, Mike, are you back?
I'm very much back.
Yeah, okay, because I couldn't hear you for the last few seconds.
So, no, I was saying that maybe you heard what I said earlier. With this mindset and everything, and when we do the exchange is huge. So how come you're still telling us that earning in a hard currency euro dollar doesn't
Yeah,
really mean being wealthy?
we will find out very soon. We'll find out very soon. By the way,
Okay.
wherever you're watching this from, please leave your comments. We check all the different platforms: Twitter, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, and to see that we can answer questions live. But if we don't answer your questions live, please pardon us. But be sure that we will get you your answers either live or we will post it on Setly. And if this is your first time being here, I do encourage you to join our platform Setly. Setly is a media platform that we have created to connect and inform people about migration. So on Setly, you can make posts there, ask your questions, things that you're not sure about when it comes to migration, when it comes to moving abroad, and you can also connect with other people as well on the journey. Now, first thing first, let me ask you. So, um, when you earn your money, so you have your like salary, right? You have the gross salary, and then there are deductions before you get the final amount, your net payout into your account. And even from that net payouts that gets into your account, there are also a lot of fixed expenses that you have to do. So at the end of the day, let's say you earn 3,000 euros. If you would convert that to, most currencies in Africa, Naira, Kenyan cedis, Kenyan or Tanzanian shillings, it's a lot of money, probably running into millions. But the truth is, even if that 3,000 is your net income, there are really some fixed bills yet to be deducted. And the truth is, what determines if you're wealthy or not, or if that money makes a lot of sense or not, is your expenses. It's your expenses and then your lifestyle, and then probably how many people you have on your shoulder. So I think this is the overview that everyone has to keep in mind first and foremost. It does not always translate to a lot of money. It can translate to a lot of money if you understand how finance work, if you do the math properly, if you adjust. So I think that's the key part that people need to understand. But let me also just get your thought or your opinion about it. What is the mindset of people when they hear that someone, let's say living in Germany, is earning 3,000 euros per month or 4,000 euros? People do earn good amount of money. Just yesterday, we had a session with African nursing activists, and we were talking about how nurses in most African countries they're earning quite low, but how they could earn a lot of money in Germany, the UK, and other Western countries. And I think in Germany, for example, we were talking about how the net income can, or the amount you earn per month can quickly climb up to 4,000, 6,000 euros. That's for sure. That's good money. Um, so, yes, there's that possibility. But I want to understand from your point of view, what's the mindset of the people when they think about this money that people earn? Did they just see only the part that the money comes in, or do they also think about the underlying expenses that also accompanies that earning?
Now, I think the issue here is we are not exposed to your own realities there, but we
True.
hear the amount that you earn, like $3,000. The first thing we do, we quickly go and do the conversion.
How do you
Three
convert
thousand
it?
euros,
Let's do it
three
quickly.
thousand dollars. This is about 4 5 million here. That's a
It's
lot of
straight up.
money. Okay, so we don't know the other things like the bills, the statutory deductions that happen.
Yeah,
But we don't
yeah.
see of the amount that we do our conversion. And we feel, man, you should be able to solve this problem or solve that problem or pick up this call and answer and provide something
Mhm.
this way. And also, this is worsened by the mentality of the government too. It's not just friends or family. Even the government have this mentality issue because most time you hear they'll say the diasporans should come and solve this problem. The diasporans need to contribute more. The diasporans need to come together. And the only time that the government really remembers the diasporans is when there is need to solve one national problem or maybe make contributions and all that, monetary contributions and all that. So it creates this image of you guys. I mean, you just like that's cash cow kind of feeling. You should do it, and it's difficult to escape that. So that's the feeling
Well,
back
let
there.
me, yeah. So let me touch on those realities, right, that the people back home do not see. Now, the first one is this: the rent. Recently I started working with a financial advisory company, Deutsche Vermögensberatung, or DVAG for short, and it's helping me to really realize how finance work, how money works. Because, for example, you could, what I do as part of my job is to do financial analysis for people, because it's about helping you to plan your finance and build wealth in Germany. Why? Because again, for this very reason, for part of this topic that we're talking about, is that you earn a certain amount of money, but that does not always convert to being wealthy. So what I do is I help people with their financial analysis, their financial planning, and how, regardless of their earning, they can build a future for themselves. Because the truth is, you have to be intentional about what you want to see. Again, still talking about you're earning X amount, can that make you wealthy or not? You have the answer to that question. Now, coming back to the point to give you the reality, like you said, yeah, you earn the 3K and then you quickly use one conversion tool and you do the math. It's running into millions of naira or whatever local currency it is that is in your country. But now, what that same conversion or app that you use is not telling you is the rent. That the rent, in some cases, could swallow half of that amount. That's the reality. Just your rent alone could swallow half of that amount. You're muted. I can't hear you. Just your rent.
Yeah, you mean for every single month?
Of course, you pay rent monthly here. So again, I'm coming to the point of one being intentional on how this can either make them wealthy or not. Now, chances are that you're paying really high rent. Again, this, working within the financial space is now opening my eyes to the reality of how people how the finance of many people work. So again, you're earning 3K. You'd be surprised that in some cases that half of that 3K is already going to your rent. Of course, that's because of your lifestyle. It's not like it's the case for everybody. Now, besides your tax, which will anyways be deducted before the money gets into your account, and social contributions, which are deducted before they get into your account, you're not even seeing those parts. But again, it's part of your total earning. But your tax is gone, the social contribution is gone, you don't see it, right? Again, coming to the tax aspect, if you don't pay attention very well, then you may be in the wrong tax bracket. And if you are in the wrong tax bracket, you may be paying too much or too less. In most cases, people are in the wrong tax bracket and they are paying a lot. There are ways that this can be fixed. So you're losing money also to tax.
No,
There's the social, you
I'm
want to
very
comment?
sorry for very sorry to interject because you said something that is very important, please. You talked about finding yourself in the wrong tax bracket. How does that happen?
Well, so the thing is, when you start working, in most cases, you're added to a default tax class. And when your situation changes, let's say you have a wife, so you get married, I have a wife, I have a husband, and then you have kids, you need to adjust your tax brackets. And I think, to the best of my knowledge, this is not adjusted by the system automatically. You have to make that adjustment. So most people don't make that adjustment. They leave it and you keep paying high taxes. Or on the other side, you have a couple that are living together, they have kids. But for whatever reason, they are not married in Germany or in the country where they are. But they're a couple, they're probably married in their home country. Again, if you're not a married couple, then you cannot benefit from the tax bracket of a married couple. But you're married for whatever reason. I don't know. I've seen a couple of guys that are doing the same. So, or you're married, but then you and your wife, your earnings are different. So there's a way you can adjust your tax classes to your advantage, such that the person who is earning more has a certain tax class and the person earning less has a certain tax class. And then you who is earning more, you are taxed less compared to the person who is earning less. So this is also another part of being intentional on how to make the right adjustments to see that, yes, you earn a lot and you hopefully will still get a bit more money to your bank account. So the second reality is the tax and the social contributions. Still on the social contributions, what type of health insurance do you have? Under a certain tax, under a certain earning bracket, you can decide which type of health insurance to be with. You can decide if you want to be with the compulsory public health insurance, or you can choose freely private health insurance. There are the pros and cons, you know. So you need to find out how to make these adjustments to again fit your situation and hopefully make the reality work in your favor. Now, there is also the part of some contributions that you have to make back home every month. And the truth is, the numbers keep increasing. You send to two people this week or this month. Next week, a couple more people are showing up. You cannot even keep up with the numbers. So this is also another thing, another reality. So whoever is seeing that amount, that is thinking, oh, this is a great amount. Many other people are seeing the same amount too, and they are thinking, oh, this is a great amount. So it's like, how many people are deducting from that salary? And not to forget the silent pressure of looking the part. You are living in Germany, you're living in the UK, you're living in the US. Come on, you should look the part. Have a fancy car, have this, have that. Some people fall into that pressure. The list goes on and on and on. So my point is, on paper, yes, you're earning in a strong currency, but in real life, there are lots of things that people do not check, and you are just a few paychecks from getting into serious stress. Does that make any sense? Does that give you some? Does it open your eyes to the reality behind
Of
this?
course, very well. When you were talking, I began to rather pity. I was beginning to have some level of pity for the man living
I
abroad,
swear,
or,
it's
or
you
the guy
guys.
living abroad.
People should pity us for real. I swear. I will still touch on. I will touch on it more. I just wanted to mention the key parts, but there's still a lot.
Yeah. Now, because even we again, sometimes when you have lived abroad for 20 years, 30 years, and you're returning back, often you will hear people say, He's a very useless guy. The guy has been living abroad, USA, for the past 20 years. He came back with only a
Yeah,
bag. He doesn't even have a house and all that. He's a useless guy.
yeah. He's a useless guy. Yeah, but you have no idea what he faced and how life is. So the thing is this: although of course in most of the Western countries like Germany, there are the you have the social safety nets. That's the truth. But one thing I've come to realize is there's no better social safety net than the type we have back homes because you have families, you have true friends. It's your home country. It's like, yes, things can go wrong, but then you can still find your way. You can still find your feet. Here, regardless of how long you stay and regardless of how deep you integrate, you still remain a foreigner. And there are certain things that you could never get to. And even if you get there, you will have to spend so much time doing those things, you know? And this is one part of the reality. It's like every month you have to be sure that money enters your account because they are fixed bills, you know? And those bills, they're not, that send you, they tell you, please make sure you have money in your account so that we can take the money. Like, so that's your job to make sure there's money coming into the account. So people really have to think about this aspect because when you are stressed here to pay your bills, there are just a few people that you can reach out to, if at all anybody. But that's not the case back home. Back home, you have a lot of options. Most rents back home are paid annually or even several years, 2, 3 years. So you have peace of mind that, okay, hey, house rent settled for 1 year, for 2 years. But here, every blessed month, you know, same with the insurance, same with other bills. So at the end of the day, you just find yourself going through a lot of paperwork, one paperwork after the next, one paperwork after the next. And this is really what is taking the time of most people.
Okay. Okay. Now, when you were talking, I was particularly interested in this, choosing the right tax bracket and all that. I wanted to ask, how long did it take you to know about to gather all of this information on choosing the right tax bracket? How long should it take a person who travels abroad? And why is it that some persons, is it that they are not aware? Why is it that some persons are still on the wrong tax bracket? Is it a matter of information or knowledge?
Yeah, the key thing is information. The key thing is knowledge. The key thing is exposure. If you're someone who you're always seeking, you're seeking knowledge, you're seeking to know things that you don't know, then you always get the answer. So that's the key thing. And now it correlates with your social circle, the people that you relate with, the people that you spend your time with, you know. It's like how you spend your time. So and now there is one part, the information, the exposure, but then there's also the other aspect of, for whatever reason, just the reluctance. I've had the experience that I see people, I tell them, I understand your situation a bit. And you genuinely tell them that, hey, you are paying a lot of money to tax, you're paying a lot of tax. You can do this and that. But for whatever reason, they don't trust you. They're just skeptical. They're not, you don't know if they are looking into it, if they understand what you're saying. You just have no idea. I've had this experience multiple times. You know, you see someone, they're earning a lot of money, they probably have a partner, kids, and you know that they're for sure in the wrong tax bracket. Because yeah, you've been able to see their paycheck, for example, or they tell you, and you ask them, say, hey, like, how much do you pay? What's the deduction? You know, before your salary gets into your account, and they tell you, and you're calculating like they're paying maybe between 30 to 35 to 45% of their earning is going into tax and other deductibles. You know, even without checking further details, that okay, something must be wrong. You ask them what's your tax bracket, they tell you one. And one, it's the tax bracket for most single people in Germany, and they are paying the highest tax. But you know that this person should not be in that tax bracket, or at least can correct it. So the answer to your question is this: one, the wrong information, wrong exposure, but then there's also that reluctance, or just simply trusting the person giving you the information. And I have no idea why people do that to themselves.
Okay, now, please again, let me just ask this question. For
Sure.
instance, I am married, my wife is in Nigeria, but I'm in Germany, all right,
Hmm.
or in any part of this Europe. Is my marriage recognized over there? So long as I can provide a document, or my wife and kids have to live with me over there before I can benefit from all those benefits that come from government for those who are married with kids.
If you're married, you're married. The government respects marriage. If you're married and you have a valid marriage certificate, and now we're talking about uh, the marriage certificate from the court because that's what is recognized internationally. So if you're married and you have the right marriage certificate, then it's recognized. If you have kids, you have the birth certificate and all, it is recognized. And the interesting thing is whether your wife is here or your wife is back home or your kids, as long as you're making expenses for your family, this is recognized. These are recognizable deductibles, you know. And if you are sending money back home to your family for your kids for their upkeep, these are deductibles that you can claim when you do your tax filing. So, of course, the tax will go first, but then at the end of the year or at the start of the next year, you are supposed to do your tax filing and then make the declaration of all your expenses because your tax filing is you are declaring how much you earned and how much you spent. And then the ones that are considered deductibles for your taxes are going to be considered, and you will get the corresponding tax return. And this is where a lot of people are leaving money on the table. They are losing money. So 100% your wife that you're married to, who for whatever reason is not with you in Germany, and your children, they are, as long as the correct documents are available, all your expenses for your family are considerable deductibles for your tax filings.
Oh, wow, I want to thank you very sincerely, Michael, for this great job. I think this is something that people should be paying heavily for consultancy, and here you are dishing out all these informations free of charge, and I think that's very gracious of you.
Thank you. So the key thing here is this. I think the trend is changing from people being gatekeepers of information. That used to be maybe what people would do in the past. If you have information at your fingertip, you keep them so you earn a lot of money from them. But I think we are past that stage in the human race right now. It's like the people who are now the true heroes are those who give out information so that others can benefit from the information. Of course, this is by no means any sort of financial advice. I wouldn't give any financial advice generally like this. I would first have to understand the person's situation and then say based on my knowledge to inform them, to educate them. At the end of the day, the person has to take the decision for themselves. But then there are certain things that you can easily learn on your own and then find ways to practice them. The first and foremost thing is the exposure, getting the information. And frankly speaking, that's what we're doing here with all the effort which we're putting together, building settling as well, to see that, hey guys, moving abroad can still be the right move for you. It's not all bad as we put it sometimes. No. But then it's really that bad if you don't pay attention to certain things. And those are the things that we are always talking about on our show like this. So we have created the platform settling so that people can have a space to have these types of conversation. They are not distracted with what they find on generic media platforms. And you know that, okay, hey, I am in this space because I am studying abroad. I am in this space because I want to study abroad, because I want to work abroad, and I want to make the best out of it. You know, as you can imagine, there are lots of things to tell. We couldn't tell them in a 30 minutes podcast or live stream. But I hope this opens the eyes of people so that they understand what the bigger picture looks like. Because yes, moving abroad can still be the right move, but you have to be intentional about it and plan accordingly.
Okay, yeah, so thanks so much, Mike. Now, like, I have a friend in the USA. Uh, he traveled to the USA. When he went to get a haircut, they told him just a haircut, at least the least amount was about $100. When he did the conversion, And that is about over 150,000 naira. And then he knows where he's coming from. Highest 5,000, you've gotten the best of haircut. So, my friend, it has been very difficult for him getting used to this new reality. And this person is making this money. It's not as if he can't afford it anyway. But I want to believe by the time he thinks other things, calls that are coming in, and the bills and the deductions and all that, it
Yeah.
becomes a huge amount of money. So, and I know some of you guys over there, you are also making such sacrifices. Like instead of cutting your hair every certain style, because he said he was going to get a clipper so that he can start grooming himself at home instead of going to spend
Yeah.
$100 every one week or 2 weeks. I want
Yeah.
to believe you guys are making all manner of sacrifices which people don't know are out there.
Let me tell you one how do you describe this? One um I've forgotten the term that they used to describe this, but let me tell you maybe one funny joke that you probably have not heard or known about. When you see most of us abroad that we are now locking our heads or just having some of this special hairstyle, it's not because hey we thought hey we've landed in the abroad so we should now become dada or we should now become dreadlocks and stuff. No, it's conditioned. When I
Yeah.
came to Germany in 2014, and the first time I went to cut my hair, um, yeah, so this is how they charge you. They say just for the hair back then, that was 11 years ago. This was just at the top here, it's 10 euros. And then if you want to touch this, it's 7 euros. And then if you want to do whatever, it's another 7 euros. By the time you add it up, it's running into 30 euros. And I thought, and like as always, you would do the conversion because you want to know how much am I paying to cut this freaking hair. And then I did that. I was like, no way. So I think maybe I just cut my hair, but I said, please don't touch any other part. Let me just pay that 10 euros and go. And after a while, I thought, okay, maybe I should just start keeping my hair because maybe it's easier. And then I started plaiting my hair. It's easier. A friend would just do it for me. I don't have to pay a lot of money to her. And after a while, that one was also costing because I would have to plait it a bit more often. Then I thought, let me just lock this hair. If you lock the hair, it keeps growing. You don't have to do a lot of things. So when you see some of us carrying our long dreads, I think in most of the cases is because of this, what you just explained now. So it's not like we just landed here and we thought, oh, let's just become Rastas or whatever. No, it's condition, it's strategy. You're muted, I can't hear you.
Sorry, no, I was muted, and I was trying to say, and some of us back at home will be thinking, this guy, he has traveled abroad now, he's doing gasa, he's doing nigga, all of them, what sort of
No,
this thing, you know?
it's not true. It's it's strategy. It's economic factor. I swear. I'm not joking. For me, for sure, that's how I got into it. I didn't think, oh, I wanted to be whatever. I was like, hey, I don't have, I don't want to be spending that amount of money every week, every month, cutting my hair, shaving and stuff. And then subsequently, it's like also not having the time to keep doing it. And then this one, you just pack your hair and then it's all done. And I also asked a couple of guys who also have dreads like me, and they said, yes, it's also the case. So please, to everyone watching, when you see us with our locks, it's conditioned. It's not like we wanted to do whatever. No, condition was the first thing, and then after a while, that turned into a lifestyle, which we also appreciate. But just keep in mind that it was a strategy, for us to save. We're almost coming to the end of the show. It's already 28 minutes, or rather 29 minutes now. But I just would like to emphasize the point of earning in euros or dollars does not always mean you're rich, does not always mean you're wealthy. But the truth is, you can still be. You just have to be conscious of your expenses. You have to be conscious of your income. And most importantly, you have to be conscious of how the financial system in your location work. I am 100% more than happy to share personalized information to whoever might be interested in understanding how the system in Germany at least works. Because, yes, I have lived here, I've experienced different phases of life in Germany. And most importantly, I am learning also how the financial system works in the country. And the truth is, To be wealthy, to be rich in a country that is not your home country. I mean, even in your home country, you have to be intentional about it because you cannot just wake up and have it by default. No way. How much more in the country which is not your home country? So there's a lot of work that has to be done there.
Okay, so now, but can I come on this information? Can I come on settling and find them, or get responses, get answers from other persons on the platform? Are these things that one can easily find on settling?
Yeah, I mean, more specifically about finance, you may not see it right now, but as long as it's still related to your lifestyle abroad and all, you still can find it, and finance is a part of it, right? So we are creating Settling to make it a space whereby all these things that are related to the lifestyle abroad, how you go, how you live, how you settle, how you thrive, how you grow, we that's the space that we are creating. So 100% setting is the right place for you to begin to put these questions and begin to ask them, because there you connect with other people that either have the experience, are looking for the same thing, and not to mention also your AI co-pilot on the platform that is always there to assist you. So the answer to your question is yes, we're putting strategies and tools together to make answers to questions around our lives abroad, be at our fingertips. Yeah.
So, okay, so can we have your final words for today?
Yeah. So I guess for me, the final words for today would be intentional about what you want to see for yourself abroad. Yes, earning in a hard currency, earning in euros or dollars, it can make you rich, but not by default. Why? Because there are default deductibles, default expenses, default lifestyle, and you have to optimize for what you want to see. If you don't optimize for the reality for what you want to see, then the default situation is what you get. The default reality is what you get. And finally, if you're not in Settling, I do encourage you to sign up on Settling, connect with us there, and start your journey abroad. And if you are already living abroad, then also be a part of Settling, because we want to see that the lives of other people keeps getting better and better. And who says you cannot learn something new on the platform?
Yeah, yeah. Okay,
So,
so and for me, Michael has already done a lot here. It's just all about keeping the balance between your inflows and outflows. You have to be very mindful about what comes in and what goes out, because abroad, in as much as it comes with a lot of promises of a better life, it can also mar you if you're not intentional about your expenses, about your spending habit and lifestyle. Thank you so much for today, Michael. Over to you.
thank you also, Michael, for joining me from Nigeria. And to everyone watching us on the different platforms, we wish you a nice Saturday and a nice weekend. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers, everybody. Bye for now.